There are so many amazing mousepads these days that I had to cut my S-tier mousepad tier list into 2 parts, and this is the second part. Just to remind you that all of the mousepads in the video are amazing, and I've just cut S-tier into 4 different tiers. This is where we were left off on the part 1 of the tier list, so we will continue from here. First off, we have the GSR SE Grey and the VAXEE PA, which are very similar mousepads. And I really enjoy gaming with these. They are not the slowest ones that I have on the list, but they are still controlled. Very good for tracking based games as well as almost all the mousepads on the list are. I've talked about these mousepads so many times that I'll link a video somewhere on the screen so you can check it out if you're interested. The new GSR SE and the VAXEE PA easily go to S++ for me. Not the biggest size, not the best quality, but the surface is very good feeling for me. Moving on to a mousepad that I have not reviewed, but I've talked about this a few times, so this is the Ninjutso NPC, and this is very close to the LethalGamingGear Saturn Pro and the EndGameGear EMC, so surprise surprise, it's a well balanced control pad with very good quality stitching and high quality base. This is pretty good value for money, and overall it was a positive surprise for me. I will have to put it on S+, because it is so similar to the Saturn Pro, and that's why it has not been staying on my desk for that long. Then we have the Odin Andromeda Pro. Again, high quality base, very good stitching. It's a smooth control pad with some similarity to the Saturn Pro, and the base is quite squishy and actually quite thick as well. Very good quality and very good for TAC FPS games, but in my tier list this does fall in the S tier for me. Before we continue, are you sometimes worried about the fact that Google and your network provider see you browse through so many mousepads? Well, you don't need to worry, because Atlas VPN is here to keep your browser history and your Google searches actually private without tracking your activity. And they do it with the best deal on the market right now, as you only pay $1.70 per month. So keep your mousepad preferences safe and click the link in the description. And that's not even all that Atlas VPN offers. For example, if you can't access certain content on Netflix because of region lock, Atlas VPN got you covered with multiple locations. They even help you find best deals while shopping online, including subscriptions like for example for Netflix and Spotify. And there are no limits as to how many devices you can protect with a single Atlas VPN subscription. So don't waste time and get this very cheap limited time offer by clicking the link in the description. Thank you Atlas VPN for sponsoring the video, and let's continue. Then we got the new Gamesense Radar, which has not updated that much. The stitching is a little bit better than it used to be, but it still has that rubber base. It sticks on my desk very well, so that's not a problem at all. The price is good on this one, and this provides good amount of control, more than for example the Saturn Pro and such. One of the more controlled mousepads on the tier list, but it's still good enough for tracking based games as well. I think I will put it on S++ tier, because it's a very good value option and the size is very good for some people who need a higher size, for example. Then we have a second Esports Tiger mousepad on this tier list, and this has the same exact stitching, the same exact base, but the surface on this one is actually better than on Tangdao, so it's a little bit slower but not too slow. Provides more dynamic friction, a little bit more static friction, so very suitable for TAC FPS especially. And this one for me goes to the S++ tier for sure. Big positive surprise for me, and this actually even somewhat reminds me of the GSR2. Just a higher quality version, and of course the surface does feel a little bit different. Then I have the Superbeings Lab Memoria Pro, and this one is interesting. It's a little bit rougher than most other mousepads on this tier list, and it does provide more balance. But because of that slightly abrasive or rough surface, it does provide you more feedback, so that gives you kind of control. I do enjoy this for CS2, and my flicks are very much on point, but as with some other pads on the list, I do struggle with micro adjustments a little bit, which is due to the slightly rougher surface, but the quality is great, so good stitching, good base. This one will go to S tier. Then I have the new VAXEE PB, which I just received about a week ago, and this has to be one of my favorite pads of 2023. Very smooth with good amount of control with pretty much any kind of mouse feet, so this feels very consistent among different mice and feet. Optimal for TAC FPS, especially with the quick precise flicks, but due to the stiffness of the base, this is actually quite good for tracking as well. So if you put some force on your mouse when you're moving it, it does not give in that much, meaning there is not that much added friction when you press down on your mouse. Excellent mousepad, and this one has their new updated silicone base. They released the PB about a year ago with the silicone base, but that one had some issues. They fixed those and this one is re-released. This is going to be a little bit more expensive than the standard PB that you can buy. This one provides a little bit more premium feeling, but of course the standard PB does provide more value for your money. Double S tier for sure for the PB, especially as I do play CS2 mainly at the moment. Then we have something that was a bit of a surprise for me, so this is the Kurosun Ninja mousepad. And this is mainly a speed mousepad, but interestingly enough, this does provide a decent amount of control as well. So not quite as marketed, and I think that this one actually provides nice control, for example, even for TAC FPS. With minimal static friction, but there is dynamic friction for that stopping power, and the pad does provide some feedback when you're moving your mouse, which also increases the control, and that's what makes this such a good mousepad for TAC FPS. And it's quite good for tracking as well, but not one of my favorites, as I do for example enjoy the VAXEE PB and the ZOWIE GSR SE for that much more. And one thing that I want to add is that the base is quite stiff on the Ninja, and that's partly what makes you feel the feedback of the surface much more. But yeah, this has been a mousepad that I've truly enjoyed, and it's quite unique as well. It will for sure get more use out of me once I have some more time. I will put it to... This one is gonna be hard to rate. I kinda wanna put it on the double S tier, but at the same time I have not used it that much. So I will put it to S++ for now, and I'll let you know if that changes at some point. Finally, the last mousepad on the list, and this one is the TheWhale Blitz. It's similar to the Kurosun Ninja in terms that it is somewhat more fast and more towards speed than other pads on the list. But again, it does provide good control, so there is dynamic friction and a small amount of static friction. The base on the Blitz is quite a bit softer than on the Ninja, so you get more control when you press down on your mouse. And once more, the quality is very good, so low profile stitching and a very good base. I really have no complaints about this mousepad. I actually ended up using it quite a lot with the Outset AX, for example, so a slightly heavier mouse with this kind of surface is very nice for CS2. The main issue for me with this prototype that I was saying is that it's a desk pad, and I absolutely hate desk pads, so it has not stayed that long, or surprisingly long on my desk actually, about a month or even maybe 2 months, which is possibly the most I've had a desk pad on my desk for sure. Blitz will have to go to S+ tier. It's a nice mousepad, but it's not really that unique. And that's basically it for this year's tier list. There are still some mousepads that I did not end up checking out, for example some Esports Tiger mousepads that I still have, and some QoR mousepads, but one issue with those is that nice surfaces, but I will check out those in the future. Hopefully the price will be adjusted on Max Gaming for those pads, because it doesn't make sense that much at the moment. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and see you guys in the next one.